And now that we're starting the stream for the day, let me just dive into our build update because it's a big one. It's a big one. Some things have changed. Some things have happened. So bear with me. If you're here early, welcome. You're going to be able to see us do it live. Do it live. So let's have a look. So this character has been doing pretty dang good. I think he's still pretty much the same thing that he's been recently, where we're doing stampeding around, sundering fools, yelling at them, dropping hammer of the gods and stuff. But there's a couple things that have changed. I'd like to go over that with you, starting off with the talent tree. So we're still waiting on that 4th ascension. I may get my level 92 here in a second, and then go after that. But so there are some things that have happened. So last time we were pretty heavily invested in this side of the tree, all in this to get attack speed and damage. We had to move away from that. The main reason being because we got one of these guys, Against the Darkness, a time lost diamond. This cost me 2 divines, so I think it was pretty manageable. But what it does is it gives me notable passive skills in the radius, grant me +1 max cold res and +1 max lightning res, which is pretty dang cool. So this is helping me get my resistances, long story short, up to 85% across the board, which is pretty wild. And then we have a 75% chaos res because we got new boots, and I was able to put a chaos resist jewel in those. So let's look at some of the changes, right? This is crazy over here. But what we did is we actually came through the top now to get some melee damage and strength, just shooting through, not even going through this little route because I wanted to get right to skill speed, because I really still missed having some attack speed. I can't really get all the way over here as fast as I can get right here. So we went back for 4% skill speed and then 6% skill speed right there. I still really like brutal, I still really like sturdy metal, and I still really like relentless. So I went ahead and grabbed all of those just to make sure that we had that. Then we came through here. I'm still grabbing the armor and stun threshold because I don't like getting stunned. I find it to be very annoying. And instead of grabbing one armor node, I still like the strength stuff because I think I still need the strength. So we just, instead of going here and pathing here, we still go down to beef and grab that up through there. It's all good. It's just fine. We did go down through here for damage for the singular purpose still. And then this time I went up and picked the shockwaves just to pad the AoE. Still going beef with 2 nodes. I think I could probably drop 1 or 2 of these and still have enough strength to wield my weapon. Maybe not. Maybe I could probably just drop 1, but I feel like I'd rather have strength and armor anyway, so it's all good. I went with this for the AoE and AoE damage and aftershocks. I still am looking to get block, but I got block a little bit differently, and I'm not actually super block capped right now. I'll talk about why. One of the reasons why is because we dropped the gem slot to add in this guy. But I did block here, and a little bit of block here with life on block. And then I came down here, one for the jewel socket, so I could have block in every jewel socket. Somebody was asking me on YouTube what I do with my jewel sockets. I like to have make sure I have 7% increased block chance. And then, like, defenses from shield are okay. What I really want is rage gain. So rage gain on hit. And I bricked one of my jewels yesterday, so I think I only have like 1 rage gain on hit now. But I do have defenses on shields and stuff. What's this one? This one exalt? Sure, whatever. But I went down here because I did get the jewel, but then I also went back into armor, and heat proofing. And I was like, man, do I really need this? And then I kind of trolled myself and stood in a big fire attack from the skeleton boss on, I think it's Abyss. And I probably should have died to that, but I didn't. And I think the reason why I didn't is because of heat proofing. So heat proofing also sort of acts as like dummy proofing. So I didn't die to that mechanic when I should have. So I think I'm not going to unspec heat proofing for that reason. It saved my butt, so maybe I'll be grateful and just keep using it. Now I did unspec this rage, which I really like, and I kind of want to go back to it. I just got to figure out where to take those points out of, because I'm almost about to abandon block and just take hits more frequently, but not yet. You know what I could do though? I actually can't do it. I was like, man, I can maybe take like just snake through here really fast, but it's only saving me it's not really saving me any points to do it that way. I'm thinking, I was like, I can move this here, so that's still connected. Then I could just go 1, 2, but then it's the same thing as like 3 points. Anyway, we got a jewel socket. Always want block on it right now. This is a very interesting jewel. I made this one. It's life regen, block chance, amount of life leech, and then damage penetrates fire resistance. So there's a build that I might want to try out at some point with Molten Blast. And this jewel seems insane, but yeah, I bricked one of my good jewels. It was one of these ones. It was one of the rage on hit and rage when hit, and I with block, and then like totem life or something, and I balled it, and it took the block off, so I was kind of sad about that one, but whatever. This one got dexterity on it, so that's kind of cool. So that one worked out pretty good. But anyway, we're still going for strength, reduced mana, all the strength we want, and then brute strength. We have a lot of strength, so we may as well scale offense off of it. Giant's Blood is what lets me use two-handed weapons in one hand. It just triples the attribute requirements of the weapons, which is why I'm always talking about having enough strength to equip my weapons. Coming down here for strength and max resistances, +2 max resist on fire, which is why my fire res is so high, is because we have 120% plus, which gives me an extra 6% max fire res on top of 79, and that gives me the 85. Then we come down here for another jewel socket, right? So yesterday, when I was doing this respec, just for fun, I went ahead and looked at what polymathy would look like in case I got another really big weapon that requires polymathy in order for me to wield it, and I do have enough strength to wield the 212 requirement strength weapons, so that's really, really cool. If I did find a weapon, and maybe I'll show you, I did craft a weapon. I bought it, and then I bought it with fizz, LE damage, and attack speed, and then we got lucky with crit chance and strength, which are definitely not too bad. So this weapon is something that I would want to use with my elemental, like molten strike build or whatever it is. But I also could use it just as a two-hander if I wanted to go back to using two-handers with this build, which I kind of want to try at some point. I just need to get a lot tankier to do that. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. And part of the reason why I'm thinking about it is up here with this jewel, we're taking a lot of things that require me to get hit in order for the buffs to take place. So let me show you. Real quick though, we are still grabbing the armor, and damage prevented is recouped as life. So we have a lot of armor that stops physical damage. A portion of that physical damage is recouped as life, so it's like a slow 8-second over time rolling heal, which is nice. I still really like this damage with maces and aftershock. I still really like that. I have these 2 points in this right now just because I think this is like an easy way to get a lot more damage, a lot more stun build up, and then whenever I level, I could go back to Skull Crusher, which would be sweet. But I think even once I'm done leveling, I mean, I might come back here. I just felt like my damage was like a little bit less than I like because of this all investment instead of all of here. But let me show you what happened here. So I love this little thing right here. This little node cluster. That's something I've been very excited. Yeah, did you see him back there puking? Yeah, poor Sam. Just wakes up and pukes, but he didn't puke on my desk. So thanks, Sam. But shout outs to Samson for puking in the video. Good work, buddy. So we get rage on hit. We get like 14 rage on hit, and then we also get every rage contributes to my armor, which is really cool. So anytime I get hit, I'm getting a ton of rage and gaining a ton of armor from this. And this is like the main way I generate rage, right? And then I also get this, where whenever I get hit, in the next 4 seconds, I have 30% increased armor, 7% attack speed, 14% attack speed, 26% attack speed, and then I come down here also for the armor, and then this is kind of troll, but 75% increased thorns damage if you blocked recently. Now this is pretty much nothing, but what it actually is it's a 2-point investment for 30% armor if you've been hit recently, and 2 max res to cold and lightning. So I think that's a good 2-point investment. Armor and 2 max res is pretty good. And then since it's still in the radius, we come up here for AoE in general, and if you've killed recently, and then a little bit more damage, and then increased melee damage with hits at close range. So I could spec here. This is also a lot of damage, and I am frequently at close range, but sometimes I'm not, right? Sometimes I'm not. Like if I'm fighting a boss, sometimes I have a little bit of distance. If I'm fighting a rare, sometimes I have a little bit of distance. And I think AoE is less damage, but it's always useful, kind of. But anyway, we definitely get this to make sure that the cluster is activated. And then we come over here. People keep asking how I have no mana. It's blood magic, guys. Removes all mana and skill mana costs are converted to life costs. So I just use my health for mana. It's so sick. Then we have the shape shifting leading into just straight up more damage into 25% increased tag damage. It's increased. I was saying more, but more nodes of increased tag damage. And then this gives me more max res too. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I think tankiness is worth it, but we're gonna try. We're gonna see how it goes. And then of course we have all the max res here too. Being tanky is what I'm trying. I'm seeing if it's worth it. Then we come here for the jewel cluster or the jewel socket. This is like 2 points here. We're already here, so I just went ahead and put 1 point there. Or no, sorry, we were already like down here. So and then I just put 1 point here instead of 2 points there for a little bit of efficiency. But I do like Titanic, and I mean, I might even go to Savored Blood again or something like that. And then I also like the life on block. There's a lot of cool things here. Just don't have the points for it right now. But that's pretty much where the tree is at. A ton of armor, attack speed, rage generation, and then max res with damage in this little area, which is giving me +6 max res, which is pretty cool. And then we have, again, the skill speed, the armor and stuff, the damage, more armor, block, more armor, max res, strength. So the tree has changed a little bit, but it's actually all right. A couple things. So I want to mention that my skills have also changed just a teeny bit, because this morning we had like a special like presentation, like Christmas thing. The kids like sang at Archer's school, our little baby boy. And so we went to do that, and we had to wake up pretty early for that. So I didn't have time to do like my normal gym stream, my normal schedule. So what I did is I just woke up and I got on the treadmill to wake up and warm up a little bit, and I ran like 2 maps. In those 2 maps, I found a greater jeweler's orb, which I've like found maybe one of them ever since I've started playing PoE. The first one I sold, I haven't found another one since. And then like a couple packs later, I found a perfect jeweler's orb. So I put the greater on my thing. I sold one of my divines for 2 more graders, and then I sold the perfect one for I could have gotten like 2 or like 2.5 divines for it if I got like 2 of them, and then like I sold it for 5. But I had boots that I wanted to buy, so I just went ahead and sold them. But anyway, we were able to expand my main attacks a little bit, finally. We've been running on like 3 links forever. So now I've added a couple things to the build, just with my main abilities here. We also did go out of one of the shouts into an aura, and I think that's okay, but I might go back to, I might switch the shouts. Give the next greater? No, I need him, bro, I need him. Actually, you gave me one, didn't you? I'll have to give it back to you. I'll have to pay you back. All right, maybe I will. Maybe I will. All right, anyway. The Mace Strike is a placeholder. I do Mace Strike occasionally, but not really. I have it stun build up. I have it doing extra damage as fire. I have it leeching life. I have it... This is literally just holding it here in case I wanted to try it with Stampede. I do like the idea of gaining endurance charges when a skill fully breaks enemy armor. We would have a lot of endurance charges, which means that we could do a lot of empowered attacks. But I might need to use Infernal Cry for that, because you only empower attacks with Seismic when you shout at a stunned enemy. But then again, I really only need the empowerment on stronger enemies anyway, and most enemies aren't strong enough to be stunned. They're just dead already, right? So I could do that. I also like the idea of Bloodlust. It's another thing I could do with my Stampede and Sunder. So I just have it here in case I want to try it out when we're mapping. But on Stampede right now, we have Momentum, which makes me deal more damage when we travel a little bit farther. So you see my guy goes green right there, like right before the end. Green. Green. And then he'll blast, and it makes it do more damage. The way I'm breaking armor is I'm doing 15% of my physical damage is breaking their armor. So I was trying to figure out why everybody was asking me why I wasn't using Devastate, and I sort of finally pieced it together. There was a guy who made a build video where I believe he was using this Ascendancy to break armor, or sorry, not break armor, to just heavy stun things just with normal attacks like Stampede, and then he was using the Devastate jewel to then break armor off of that heavy stun and having the stuff explode that way. I think that's fine. Probably good. That's just not what I've been doing. I've just been breaking armor by dealing damage, and I do have it exploding their armor when it fully breaks their armor, and that's been fine. I've experimented with a couple different things. I always had martial tempo on my leap slam, and it was like, it was fine, but I'm like, I'm not pressing leap slam nearly as much as I'm pressing this. So I'm gonna try out attack speed on my Stampede a little bit and see how that feels. But the thing that I was thinking about, if I didn't want to do the endurance charge thing to get more slams that are empowered on like whatever, because again, like I'm probably not gonna be breaking armor that frequently with Stampede against like a boss, right? So what I could do against like a boss or something like that is I could actually take Bleed, which I currently have on Sunder. I could take Bleed and put it on my Stampede. So Stampede would have a good chance to bleed. And then what I would do is I would put Bloodlust on my Sunder, so that even though Sunder can't actually bleed things, what it can do is it will do more damage against bleeding enemies. So I would use my Stampede to break, like even I will do this on a boss. I'll just Stampede at the boss until its armor breaks. Ideally it's bleeding, and then I'll Sunder, and Sunder will both consume the broken armor to do the guaranteed Giga crit, and it will bleed that crit. So that seems really, really cool too. And that seems very powerful. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is because I kind of like the attack speed, but what that would look like is like this, right? And I think that would actually be really powerful. So maybe I'll try that out, just because I'm very interested in that interaction. I know what Martial Temple feels like, and it feels really good. Remember, it's going to be like 50% attack speed on Stampede, so you're going to be zooming after you get hit by an enemy. But I like this idea a lot. This seems really cool. I even gave Bone Shatter one of the graders that we found, so that's pretty cool. We have Impact Shockwave, which is normal. I do like the Devastate on Bone Shatter, because again, it's the same idea, is that if a mob is strong enough to survive my damage to the point where it can be stunned, then I want to break its armor and then blast it with a Sunder. I also have it executing enemies at low health, and then I'm gonna have it with close combat. It's just so that it does more damage at close range, which I think is pretty cool. We're just gonna see how that feels. I like Bone Shatter a lot still. I think it's the kind of thing that maybe you could move out of your build eventually, but I love it. Leap Slam, right now I have it with Holy Descent. I'm gonna experiment with a Leap Slam giving me Rage now. I could try other things too, but I kind of like the idea of Leap Slam giving me Rage, because I also liked having Rage on Stampede, but we just can't put everything everywhere. So when I jump on something, it giving me Rage is cool. I think it also makes sense for you to just put like extra stun build up on it too, so you can leap slam Bone Shatter all the time. That feels pretty good, I bet. So Seismic Cry is the shout I'm using right now. You can spam it so you can keep Daze on enemies. Daze just increases their stun build up. I have Premeditation on there, where skills empowered by supported skills deal 15% more damage. So when I do finally have somebody stunned, Seismic Cry, boosh, it's gonna do more damage that attack too. You pretty much want this on whatever shout you're using. And then I'm trying Raging Cry, where supported skills grant 4 rage per 5 power. I actually think what I'm gonna do instead, I might kind of be trolling myself a little bit. I don't always like to make changes while I'm playing, like while I'm making the video. But this is a cool one, getting Rage. But again, it only is gonna give you Rage when you are like hitting a strong enemy. I kind of want to try Corrupting Cry just in the map, but then again, like, you are going to get power. You're going to get 4 rage per 5 power, and a rare mob is only going to give you 4 rage. But unique monsters, when they're stunned, will give you a lot more than that. They'll give you, what, 16 rage? Is that right? So that's kind of nice, but hopefully you'll be having rage anyway. I think this is okay, but I'm going to try the Corrupting Cry, because you can always just, like, spam this and get, like, bleeds on stuff, so it's kind of interesting. I don't think it counts. I don't think Corrupted Blood necessarily counts as a bleed. Is it? Corrupted Blood, right, is not bleeding, and it is not affected by things that bleeding. It's still cool though. I have a lot of strength and it scales off of strength, which is neat. Again, I may switch out Seismic Cry and just go back to Infernal if I just feel like doing that instead. But this is fine for now. Hammer of the Gods, we actually buffed Hammer of the Gods too. So Hammer of the Gods currently is doing more melee fizz for less attack speed, more melee fizz but no other types of damage, more maximum physical damage, so it's hitting like an absolute truck, and then we're guess what? We're putting more modifiers on it, so it'll consume 10 rage if possible to deal 35% more damage. And the reason why I removed a shout from my setup is because I'm actually trying to run 3 auras right now. Time of Need, I always love Time of Need. I'll have that socketed up with Fast Forward so that it procs its heal and cleanse more frequently, and then Accuracy so that I have plenty of accuracy. I am kind of curious what happens if I take this out right now. Am I not going to be able to Yeah, we're at 93%, which is acceptable, but I like 100, so that's good. What I've been doing right now is I've been experimenting with a different combo. So, Herald of Ash is nice for clear. Let's see, where's this one he wants? It's nice for clear, but it doesn't really do anything against bosses. It doesn't always do anything against, like, strong enemies, I feel like. And I'm also experimenting with this, like, getting really tanky thing. So, we have Time of Need for the heal. And you look at my other options. I also like Berserk a lot, especially because I was dealing... When I had more rage and my rage would last longer, I was doing Berserk. But then I was like, I don't like that I degen so much health with Berserk, so I didn't do Berserk. My clear felt okay without Herald of Ash. So what I'm trying is a 3 aura setup. So Overwhelming Presence just makes enemies have reduced stun threshold, so you stun them a lot more easily. But Scavenged Plating, like, I keep trying to go back to this because I like it so much. Whenever you break armor, which is like all the time from my Stampede and my Bone Shatter, you get these stacks of Scavenged Plating that usually last 8 seconds, but with this, it makes it last like more like 12 seconds. But you get 6 armor per Scavenged Plating, and once I quality it up again, it's going to be 7% more armor per Scavenged Plating. So I'm running around the maps with like 85% physical damage reduction and 85% resists. So that should be pretty tanky, right? And I hope that helps me out. Is kind of what I'm rolling with right now. As I'm rolling with a tankier build that still seems to do good damage. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to get a new weapon and go polymathy and be tanky and have my damage pop off because of the fact we got a new weapon. But I also hope that some of these additions to my gem slots also leads to more damage so that we still can be very tanky and then but scale our damage with other means, right? But we're also scaling our defenses with other means. That's the rundown of my skills right there. And some people have been asking me for a written guide. That's the kind of thing that I'm down to do eventually. It's just haven't done it yet, but I'm definitely not against the idea. So thanks for letting me know what you're interested in seeing. I appreciate that. What I've got going on with my gear is, let's start with the weapon. The weapon is kind of the same. We do have the other weapon, which is pretty dang cool, right? This is a neat option. I don't think it's good enough right now to go polymathy for it, but it would be really fun to dual wield them once I get tanky enough. Because the thing about all these talents that give me like stuff on hit is that when you block, it doesn't count as getting hit. So I don't have like but if I didn't have the shield to block, or if I even spec'd out of some block nodes, so I still block, but I just don't block as frequently, and I get hit more frequently, I would have all that rage, all that armor, all that attack speed, that much more frequently, but I don't know if I would just die. But if we wanted to try that out, we could either put the shield, leave the shield on, just pull some of the block nodes out and get other stuff that's interesting, or we could just dual wield, take every single hit to the chest, and just have a ton of armor, ton of resists, a ton of recoup, ton of attack speed. That might be sick, but I think that would make me too squishy. Maybe once I get my level, I'll give it a try. So that's what I'm saying, Ganondorf. I don't have any written guides on this guy, but I've made this will be like my 12th video or something like that of like the build updates as we go. But I understand it can be really easy just to very quickly look and be able to scroll through all of my skills without me having to go over them one at a time, or quickly scroll through my talents without having to have me walk you through each one, or like see what all my jewels are without me having to hover over them. I could see how that'd be useful, but this is what we're doing right now. But yeah, I got you though. I got you. And get glancing blows. So let me see what that one is. It's reduced block chance, but you take more damage from it. Is that what it is? Right, block chance is doubled, but you take 50% of damage from blocked hits. I mean, that could be interesting. What's the anoint cost for that one? Sometimes my anoints don't work. Yeah, we could try that. So you'd instantly cap your block, but you would just get hit and just take a little bit of the damage that you would take. That could be an interesting, that could definitely be an interesting thing. Why don't I use Perfect? It's just not part of my build. Just not what I'm interested in doing right now. Although that would be a fun thing to put in the build for when I did like a fire damage guy. That'd be really fun. I will look into the glancing blows thing. That could be interesting. Do you think that on those hits where you take 50% of the damage, does it count as a hit, even if it's blocked? Is it a blocked hit that you just take damage from, or does it count as a hit? Because that it depends, right? Because blocked stuff doesn't actually do it, right? Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I have to see how expensive it is. Definitely a cool option though. But if it still counts as a blocked hit and you don't actually get hit and you don't get all the buffs, that's not really what I'm looking for. But yeah, if it probably is a blocked hit, just take damage. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, let's not get too distracted. This is my weapon. Percent fizz, flat fizz, attack speed, and life leech is all cool. For this particular guy where I'm not doing elemental damage, I would rather just have like accuracy fizz so that it just gives me more physical percent damage, and a higher physical damage roll would be cool. In terms of the suffixes, I love attack speed. Life leech is okay, plus skills are okay, reduced attribute cost is okay when you have like a big base, and what else? Just strength is good. Crit is okay. We have crit in that one weapon, it's okay. But yeah, I think you want like strength in there too. My helmet's pretty solid. I'm having a hard time replacing this one just because it has so much accuracy, so much life, so much resist. The strength is a little bit low and the crit hit chance is okay. I don't need mana right now. I don't like mana. I'm just playing blood magic, so it's fine. But this is pretty goddamn good helmet. Pretty good. My amulet, this is probably the next thing I need to replace, just due to the fact that it has life but kind of low life. It has melee skills but kind of low melee skills, and no strength on it except for the implicit of the actual amulet. That's an amber amulet. It does give me 13 all res, but we're kind of in a position where I could sacrifice some all res as long as I got cold resistance somewhere else. Ideally on my helmet. My helmet can actually drop like a little bit of like the crit hit chance, and then we could get cold res on there, which would be great. But that's gonna be hard to find. But that'd be ideal. That way I can give up like 38% cold or fire res, right? Or sorry, I give up 2% fire res and still stay above the threshold that I want to be at for the resists, and that would be cool. And then I'll probably I might allocate something different. Right now I'm allocating flashy deflection, which is not that good. It's just cheap. I just had it. I was just clicking around and it was like, oh, I could get block chance. Great, that's cool. So my shield, I have it with you really want a lot of high block chance on the shield. High base block chance is great. Armor is great. This is a triple res shield, and it has thorns on it. If this had like life or even just more armor, that would be super ideal besides thorns. I've said this before, but your shield and your chest are like one of those areas where you could get away with not having life, because you can just stack defenses, and then all these things that modify the defenses of your shield, like my anoint or like certain talent points or things like that, would scale off of that armor. Come on, Sam. Quit biting my stuff. And then you always want to socket that with the more armor thing too, I think. But yeah, this is a really good shield. We crafted this ourselves and it's been working for me. The high block chance and the armor are pretty cool. And the tri-res is very, very helpful. Definitely neat. The ring, this is another one of those things that I need to replace. It does have a ton of lightning resistance, and that's going to be... I don't want to give too much of that up again, because without my amulet, which I don't really need all res on, I can give up like 14 and still be like... I have 100 resistance, which means that when LE weakness comes through, we're still looking pretty juicy on that. But I don't want to have my LE weakness cap kind of taken off, so we can still give up some resistance on lightning and be fine. But I want more strength, I want more life. That would be great. And if I wanted fire res, if I did get fire res on there, then it would help me find a helmet more easily. We could also do cold res, but you know, we would want to budget some stats for cold res on the helmet then too, just to make it all work out well. But I'm trying to keep my fire res above 120, so, and it's 120 without the amulet, so we're a little tight on that. So we could gain fire res, which would give me a little bit more room. It's kind of like a fun little puzzle. And how much accuracy? I'm trying to have a 100% hit chance, so that's what I'm working with. These boots are my newest acquisition. We spent 3.5 divine. Shout outs to the dude he posted them for 4, and I told him that 3.5 was my entire bank, and so he was like, let's do 3 divines and 45 exalts. And then that let me buy the boots, and I had 5 exalts left over to put a gem in it, so that's why you see me taking these 1 exalt sales, boys. We're down bad right now, but that's part of the fun, is you just spend it when you got it, and then make your gains and go farm, and you'll get drops faster than before. So shout out to that dude for that one. But these are beefy. They are big life. The movement speed is not 30, 35, but that's what kept the boots from being like 7, 8 exalts, so it's or divine, so it's all good. Big life, pretty good movement speed, big strength, big resists, beautiful. That helps me out a lot. and it let me put a chaos resist gem in there, which is why my chaos resist is now capped. We are now chaos resist capped, which is pretty cool. We're not like over capped with our resist like we are for the other elements, but it's all good. Let me find this belt for this dude real quick. He's probably chancing this bad boy. Chaos resist is one of those things that we wanted for a long time. Even though they buffed like the players to be more resilient against chaos, they nerfed the chaos damage basically. It's still nice to have that cap. So my belt, I was like, man, I could probably switch my belt out, but I definitely don't really want to right now. We have a lot of life. Increased life, flash recovery is great. Strength could be a little higher, but it's still good. Big fire, big lightning resist, and then of course the thorns damage, it haunts us. We have the little thorns roll on my shield, a little thorns, tiny thorns roll on the belt, but it's still 5 really good mods. So I don't think we're gonna get rid of this anytime soon. I think the main things we're looking to replace are probably these 2 items, the neck and the ring, probably in that order. And then we might want to work on our weapon at some point, because my gloves are also really good. Big armor, big life, attack speed, strength, and chaos resistance. Very, very cool. We used to have cold res on those, which is why my cold res is like a little bit lighter than the rest of my resistances at the moment, but because they made it so that you don't get reduction of resistances at 6 and 11 map tier anymore, you kind of have a lot more resist to work with, so I'm a bit heavy on these ones. I still want to keep the fire high, but yeah, lightning could go down, but like I said, we'll get that from taking this off at some point. But yeah, the chaos res is pretty sweet. Big strength, attack speed, love that. You can get plus skills on gloves too, so that's a pretty big deal, but we picked those up. Those are serving me well, and we can still quality them up too. I think the boots can now be qualitied, my gloves can be qualitied, and that's exciting stuff. So the chest piece we got right now, it's pretty solid. The only thing that's a little bit troll is that tiny little baby armor roll. But that was like part of the armor and increased armor roll. It's a tier 1 on that thing, so that's pretty troll. But it is a pretty big chunk of armor, almost 1600 armor, almost 200 life, 27 strength with 32 cold res and 23 chaos res. So this is one of those items that we picked up kind of like early on in our starting to like get to the end game, kind of like big purchases for like a couple. I think we picked this up for 2 divines, so we started to buy things for divines. This is one of the first things that I bought. We obviously socketed in some armor in that to again scale things like you know, extra 80% increased armor from equipped body armor, and I don't think I'm going this talent, but I mean that's pretty cool too for my ascendancy. And then this ring right here, we picked this up recently too. Accuracy, life, strength, dex, cold res. So a little bit of chaos res, big chunk of cold res. It's nice. And for my flask, I like the 25% recovery applied instantly, but still having a rolling heal as well, and then it just charges when I kill an enemy. And then we have the chaos resistance charm, which you know, I might not need this anymore now. I might be able to do a different kind of charm. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll go crazy and we'll do like a magic find charm or something, dude. I'll have to see where I have those hanging out. If I have any gold charms, you could do a gold charm, or I could do a like a freeze immunity charm or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything that's making me have chaos reduction. So I could find a different charm. I'll have to think about what charm I want to use. That's cool. All right, Sam, scoot over a little bit. Let me show you guys what I'm cooking with in terms of my Atlas. So my Atlas, this actually may have been one of the reasons why we found the jeweler's orbs, is because I did decide to go here. I went back to local knowledge where grass biomes have a 40% increased chance to drop socket currency and a bunch of other stuff. That's the main reason that I'm even here though. And then we are going down for, I moved the lucky pillage off, but I still want the quantity of waystones. I still want the rarity of waystones. I still want the waystones to found to have a higher tier. And I did go over here for more rares, an extra rare is duplicated, more magic monsters, magic pack size. And then I could, if I'm feeling zesty, instead of moving this waystone quantity, I can move it into Deadly Evolution to make the rare and unique monsters have 1 or 2 additional modifiers. It might be okay on rares, but buffing the unique monsters that we're fighting is kind of scary. We can do a little map ski real quick. Speaking of unique monsters, should we go to the Forge? Go fight a guy in the Forge real quick. Get reduced flask charges. Oh, the Forge is such a yucky map, though. Should we try it anyway? Such a yucky map. Ooh, additional modifier, too. We could try it, though. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. we'll show you guys what we're cooking with the new build. So there are some things that I haven't even like tried about the new build yet. Oh, is this different? This isn't even the forge that I was thinking. Okay, the Vol forge is something that I don't like or something like that. But my plan overall is to run around, charge at people. I gotta see if I even notice the bleed. Charge at people with Stampede, bap them with a Bone Shatter if they survive. You'll notice the armor explosions going off. We got big ladies. Gotta watch out for those things. But my armor is getting all juiced up from our armor plating, so we have 85% physical damage reduction right now. For these things, I like to just cast our hammer, start clicking it, let the hammer drop on them, pop them. Essence of battle. All right, we'll run that map later, man. Like that idea. But yeah, my guy has turned into a little bit more of a tanky dude. But I don't think that my damage is necessarily bad. I do kind of miss the attack speed on Stampede. But I'm trying to see if I'm noticing any bleed. I don't need it on most of these guys, but they mostly just are dying anyway. But in the mapping phase, it might be nice just to have the attack speed. But if there are mobs that survive and they get bled, yeah, he's bleeding, so that'll hit him really freaking hard. I don't need a big bleed. I'm not really scaling bleed damage. I'm just using a bleed to make me deal more damage. Are we really gonna do a ritual on this one line? I mean, is that just a Sunder angle here? The rat storm is gonna come get me, but like, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Charging in. That's some big Bone Shatters though. My Bone Shatter is gonna hit really hard at close range, and I think it's probably doing some work even at because I'm wondering if like the AoE that happens is cleaving the original damage, or if it's like affected by the AoE. My slam versus yours, bro. My slam versus yours. Let's just go back and clear this real quick. But it ends up feeling real smooth. I just needed a little bit more skill speed on it because I was feeling a little extra chunky yesterday. Are you trying to explode corpses or what's going on there? Oh yeah, that was a very long wind up on that slow explosion though. Whoa, 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 what's this? Those little pustules, I don't want that. Because we're pretty tanky, but there's definitely some like long, slow wind up attacks that Path of Exile really wants you to dodge. If you don't dodge them, they can still really hurt. So is it the pustules? Oh, it's the hags. Okay, so we got hags, corpse exploder hags, and this big mama mortar firers. So this is kind of a yucky mob variety here. Definitely need to pick up the superior stuff, because I need to be qualitating all my new armor, my new booties and stuff. I guess I could be using the corrupting cry more. I feel like that's usually going off right at the same time as my aftershock, so it looks like I'm exploding them with my shout, which is kind of cool. I don't think I am. Just aftershock. You got the corrupted blood on him. Oh yeah, so I think I mentioned it a little bit, but I don't think I like really hammered on it. Is that I've changed my Sunder from a like big AoE blaster attack to more of a close range like shotgun, right? So it's less of a sniper and more of a shotgun, right? So we're just blasting. Stuff kind of gets a little bit close range and we hammer them. Boosh. This rare's kind of tanky. Oh, he got hammered though. We're good. See if he's looking strong. Yeah, it's meaty, huh? It's chunky. And I could stampede with more attack speed too, which would also feel really good. But I'm just curious because now I have a little bit more sockets to work with. I'm curious how this like bleed application on this thing would feel, right? So if I make them bleed a little bit with my Stampede, and then I like detonate or take advantage of those bleeds with my Sunder, right? That seems pretty good, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking, at least. Those guys still hurt me, though. Don't have that many stacks. My armor. Whatever, though. Hey, what are you doing? Was he bleeding? And so he took forever to die. Do you get gear from mobs? Like, wow. Or do you have to PvP? Yes, definitely no PvP in this game. This is basically just like an infinitely scaling Mythic Plus. With no weekly lockouts or limits on your, how much you can farm. And maybe more of an emphasis, depending on how you play, on, like, economy and trading. Kind of a nasty looking ignite on me there. Oh, you know what? I think the boss is gonna be the big guy. Oh, I hope it doesn't one-shot me. Is he bleeding a little bit? He is. Blasted. Nice. I know we're doing the build thing, but I'm gonna go back to town and grab this loot real quick. This the Torghast we wanted, yeah, something like that. I want this loot, bro. I want this stuff. Chuck that on probably the gloves for now. Oh man, my dump tab's getting awfully full, boys. It's filling up fast. Alright, we'll go back to town though. Back to the map. Pretty cool though, huh? Ends up feeling pretty smooth. Oh, big mamas. I like the tools that we have in the build is basically the main thing. I like the way it plays. We have charge, we have leap, which I'm not using that much. But it does give me some rage, so we might want to consider doing that more often. So she's bleeding and blasted. This guy's... Oh, there's like 3 rares here. It's crazy. He's bleeding too, blasted. Let's see if we can get them bleeding, blasted. And not dead yet, but blasted. There we go. So Sunder, along with our, you know, Hammer of the Gods, of course, is kind of like my heavy hitter. I'm gonna see how this theory plays out against the boss, though. My bosses are kind of juicy, so we'll see how that goes. Don't explode me, please. I'm also kind of keeping an eye on how my rage is looking throughout the course of this. See if my rage generation is looking acceptable. Still love Bone Shatter. It's 3 out of 3. Anything cool? Attack speed. Reduced attribute. What's this one? It's advanced. Projectile skills. You gotta look at this stuff, boys. Some stuff might be alright. Some stuff might be not half bad. Not really that great either. Whatever. A little bit of fire damage for the boys. Let's go. Let's roll. I think there's a boss here. Guess there's just more mobs. We haven't seen them yet. Wait, did we circle all the way around? Oh my gosh. We did. Yeah, I put that in the dump tab. This guy's gonna try to buy it for an exalt. Sorry, brother. Alright, well, we're gonna do some backtracking, it looks like. Still a bunch of monsters left. Doing it though. Am I using Tremor on Sunder? I'm not, no. I want Sunder to hit hard right now. But Sunder with Tremor, I think is okay. But no, I want it to hit hard. So we're not doing that strat. A little bit of backtrackery going here. Leap Slam is not with the movement speed or attack speed anymore, but it still seems to get the job done for scooting around, right? Is there fun and worthy things to grind endgame for? Absolutely. I mean, like, if you like progressing your character and getting stronger, then there's going to be a whole lot of cool stuff to test your character's power against in this game. because you can continue to scale how difficult and rewarding the content is for a very long time. And then the boss fights in the game are pretty cool. Again, we're just logging in. Hopefully we can get this guy down. We have upgraded some stuff. And I guess another thing that's kind of cool with this one is I don't really have to change my setup for bosses. I don't get a lot of value out of armored plating against bosses, so I could maybe put something like a different skill in there, but I think it's probably okay. The boss is going to do all his RP for a while here. Just going to slow me down a bit. I should let those guys hit me. This guy's kind of scary. Hopefully our armor and everything else will be enough to not get just blasted by this guy. Let's see. Maybe stay on this side of it, it's okay, maybe? So, I'm just gonna chuck a hammer of the gods at him here in a second. Just to get the party started here. Oh, did I miss? I can also try to break his armor a little bit and get him bleeding with this. Which I think is a fine idea. I haven't fought bosses a lot yet as this build, but Sunder does love armor break. I think the main thing with this dude is to get him stunned. So that's a big armor break right there. Once you stun him, I think he starts to take a lot more damage. So it's more like eroding his stun bar rather than like proccing a stun on him, you know what I mean? Ow. Oof. It's there. No. Stop doing that. So his armor's broken here, I think. Or he's stunned, so hopefully we can hit him hard now. Yeah. He starts to take a lot more damage. But it also looked like he immuned part of my other thing, which I don't like. Might just be a long battle. Whoa, those hurt. Oh. Heck, dude. Don't really have any flasks. If his little goons gave me some flasks, would be nice. I think we have hammer again. Probably a good time to send it. Nice. Sweet. I love how the bosses tend to give me tier 15 maps. That's a big tanky boy right there. I'm glad we got him down. That's a big dude. Let's move these over just a little bit so we can grab that. But cool. So that was a T15 map with a big boss in it. It just wasn't like a super juiced one. It's like a 79 level map, so nothing too crazy. But we kind of steamrolled through the mobs and the bosses. That's a big tanky boy. We got him though. We got him. Pretty fun iteration of the build. It feels a little slower. It feels maybe a little bit less heavy on the damage. But in combat, I definitely feel pretty dang tanky. Again, I'm even considering moving away from like as heavy of investment in the shield, taking more hits as long as I can absorb those hits. And then just like seeing if that feels like good, and then we can invest more in damage than the blocking and stuff. But all in all, I'm having a lot of fun with the build. Seems good, it feels good. We're gonna keep progging it, hopefully level 92 today, and we'll just take it from there. But I do like the fact that we got all the max res. I think that helps out a lot in terms of just making us take less chunky hits from stuff. It also kind of enables us to run some of these maps that have like plus damage as like an element. Just makes it like those are actually on the list instead of being like, ain't no way, no, we're not running those. So hopefully that'll help us progress. But I do really love making these build updates for you guys. We usually do them at the beginning of the stream. As things change and as things progress, we'll keep sharing the progress with you. And still have a lot to do with this character. Still have a lot of things that I think would be cool to try out. And as we get more talent points to experiment with, and as we get more currency to empower our guy, we'll keep sharing the progress with you. But we got a little bit of time to game today, so let's get down to it. We'll post this video up on the YouTubes for you and keep it pumping. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on stream.